Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Can all of you hear me?
Yes.
Friends, let's start the Sutta study. When the Buddha was residing in Rajagaha, in the bamboo grove, it's called Veluvana in Pali. Venerable Samiddhi was living in a forest hut. Venerable Samiddhi was another monk. Potaliputta, a giant follower, met Venerable Samiddhi and said that he heard the Buddha say that bodily and verbal actions are vain. That means insignificant. Only mental actions are real. And added, there is an attainment on entering which one does not feel anything at all. Now, that is called the samapatti. Only arahants and the Buddha or Pacceka Buddha can attain that. And when they attain to that particular special spiritual attainment, they can stay for 7 days without taking any nutriment, without movement. The body does not work. Only the mind works. So this Potaliputta was referring to that when he said there is an attainment on which, on entering which, one does not feel anything at all. Okay. Then he asked a question. When one does an intentional act by body, speech, or mind, what does one feel? Venerable Samiddhi answered, one feels suffering. Later, Venerable Samiddhi met Venerable Ananda. You know, Venerable Ananda was the Buddha's attendant monk, and told him about the conversation with Potaliputta. Now, he went to Venerable Ananda because he was not sure of his answer. He knew that he had made a mistake, but he wasn't quite sure. Venerable Ananda suggested that they should meet and ask the Buddha. Later, when the Buddha heard everything, he said he had never met Potaliputta, and what he had asked about was the 3 kinds of feeling. That is pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. You know, every feeling has one of those, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And Buddha said, and one feels pleasure with the pleasant action, pain with the painful action, and neither pain nor pleasure with the neutral action. So you can see it is not suffering for all feelings, right? Depending on the feeling, whether it is a pleasant one or unpleasant one or neutral one, the feelings change. So Venerable Samiddhi's answer was not quite correct, and Buddha pointed it out. At this point, the Buddha expounded his great analysis of action, which is termed the Maha, kamma, vibhanga Sutta. That is the one we are going to do today, right? And that is called in English the Greater Exposition of Action, based on 4 types of persons. So Buddha took 4 types of people to explain this Maha, kamma, vibhanga Sutta. Now listen carefully, because it is complicated. what we did earlier, you remember the Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta was quite easy compared to this one. You see, that is just one-to-one like, right? If you do this, you will go to hell. If you do this, you will go to heaven. But here, it's different. So listen carefully. Now, of the four people, now the first one, the evildoer who is reborn after death in hell or a lower realm. You see? So, naturally, we don't expect an evildoer to go to heaven, isn't that so? So, now that is what the Buddha said, that's the first one. The evildoer who is reborn after death in hell or a lower realm. Now the second one, again the evildoer, not the same one, but another evildoer who is reborn after death in heaven or a happy state. Now can you see the difference? Mm-hmm. See? So now the third one, the doer of good, not the evildoer, but the doer of good, who is reborn after death in a happy state. Quite natural, right? Now the fourth one, the doer of good, who is reborn after death in a lower realm. Now see, there are two kinds of opposites. Now let us see what the Buddha says. The Buddha shows how wrong view can arise from only a partial understanding of the teaching or the Dhamma. Now, if you don't understand the Dhamma properly, you can, get into trouble. So, the Buddha shows that the view, the evildoer goes to hell, all evildoers go to hell, is too simple. For the minds of people are complex and they make many different kinds of kamma. Even in one lifetime. So just think of all the lifetimes that we have gone through, right? Supposing that kamma is done before death, just before death, like kamma, some kind of good or bad kamma is done. It influences the last moment and it may be the basis for the next life. Can you see that? Now, that is leaving aside all the other kammas that person has done before. The rebirth actually depends on the object of the last moments of the dying person's consciousness. Now when we think of the consciousness, it is a very important part of the mind. So, now, it is the consciousness that works this miracle of rebirth. So, now, when the object comes in front of the consciousness, then that particular object takes the basis for the rebirth. It could be quite different, right? We'll come across, more things as we go along. Wrong view could happen in 4 stages. Now, I told you about wrong view. So, there is a wrong view and a right view. Now, here, that means wrong view can happen in 4 ways. Let us see. A seer, a seer means an ascetic or monastic or someone, a seer or mystic or meditator who has psychic power, right, sees in a vision an evildoer suffering in hell. Now Buddha was also a person who had psychic power, and there were many arahants who had psychic power. Now here we are talking of not one of them really, but of another seer, someone, maybe a meditator, who has psychic power. And he sees an evildoer reborn in hell. The wrong done. Now let us see what the wrong things are. The wrong done is killing living beings. Now this person may not have done all these things, but we are just giving a number of things that could have been done by anybody. Killing living beings, stealing, misconducting in sensual pleasures, speaking harshly. Now see, even speaking harshly can be an evil, or maliciously, or falsely, that is speaking untruth, or gossips. Because gossip, you might think it is, really not so bad, but gossip can, make another person feel abused and insulted and also very guilty. I know of one boy, I don't want to mention names or anything like that, but who committed suicide through gossip. Because, the others started saying this and that about that boy. In the end, he could not endure. He committed suicide. So there you can see how it could become evil. Is covetous, that is, longing for other people's things. Has a mind of ill will and holds wrong view. Holds wrong view. Now these are the evil deeds that someone could do. Not all of them by one person, but these are evil things that can be done by people. And they can have a bad effect on your, future. His actions are incapable of good result. Now, if someone has done any of those, it cannot produce a good result because they are unwholesome. And it is proved that they are unwholesome because he is reborn in hell. Right? Now, this is what this seer or meditator saw. This vision confirms what he had heard about moral causality. Now, I have explained this to you before, but I'll tell you again. Moral causality means, now moral means virtue, right? Morality, good precepts and keeping the precepts and so on and so forth, right? So, moral causality means you do good, you get a good result. You do bad, you get a bad result. That is the, cause and effect sort of factor that is given, usually given. So that is what he had heard before, the seer. So that wrong action is always followed by suffering. Now that is moral causality. So this person says, all evildoers always go to hell. Right? Only this is true. Anything else is wrong. Now, that is what he believed. And that is why Buddha says, if you know the Dhamma only partially, you have wrong view. So now this person also has wrong view. Now, anyway, now there is one example that I have taken. There are many examples. I'm sure you would have come across them. Even this you might be knowing, but still, this is the one I took. That is Devadatta. Devadatta was Buddha's cousin and also brother-in-law because his former, Yasodhara's brother. Now, Devadatta persuaded Prince Ajatasattu to murder his father, King Bimbisara, who was a stream enterer, a Sotapatti, right? Very virtuous king. And his son killed him, mind you. So, and who instructed him? Devadatta. Now, Devadatta told the prince you kill your father and become king, I will kill the Buddha and become the Buddha. So he was such an ignoramus, he didn't realize that becoming a Buddha is not so easy. By killing the Buddha, you can't become the Buddha. Anyway, he 3 times attempted to murder the Buddha and succeeded in wounding him. That is really a big crime. He also caused a schism in the Sangha. These bad kamma led him to a rebirth in hell. Right? Now, that is just an example of someone who has done bad things going to hell. Now, let us take the next example of what the Buddha said. He gave four examples. The second kind. Another seer or recluse, by effort, devotion, diligence, and right attention. Now, these 4 things are necessary to get concentrated, right? To become concentrated, you need effort, you need devotion, you need diligence, and also right attention. So, someone who had, done all those things managed to attain concentration and sees. Again, he also sees a vision. An evildoer who is reborn in a happy realm. Right? So, this is an unusual incident, isn't it? So, he declares there are no evil actions, no results of misconduct. For I saw a person with bad kamma after death reappear in a happy state. Now see, by not only is he going in the wrong direction, he is giving the idea to others also, so that others also believe him and get into the wrong track. So now, let us see. Those who think thus know rightly. Those who think otherwise are mistaken. Now that's what he declared. Only this is true. Anything else is wrong. So now for this too, I found an example. Now this is the example. There was a public executioner for 50 years who was a bandit earlier and even killed his own comrades before becoming the executioner. Now, he had now killed so many people for 50 years. Then he, he got his pension, I suppose. So then he met Venerable Sariputta. Now he was terribly upset about his own behavior, right? For doing all those things. He became later on very regretful. And that was the time when he met Venerable Sariputta and listened to the Dhamma after offering dana. He had prepared a very good dana and then, for himself, but he offered it to Venerable Sariputta. And then he listened to the Dhamma. It uplifted his mind so much that, he died very soon after. After death, was reborn in a heavenly realm. Now, don't think that he's not going to get the results. You see, even if this evil kamma does not generate the mode of rebirth, that is, he was not born because of, what he had done earlier, but only because of what he had just done. The upliftment that he got to his mind by listening to the Dhamma. So he was born in a heavenly realm, but it will still mature for him in some other way in the next life or a future life. So that is why we have to be very careful about what we do, our actions by body, speech, and mind. We must be very mindful about how we, continue our life in this world. Okay, so similarly, another meditator sees a person who abstains from these misdeeds. Now he's a good one, right? The doer of good, and holds right view. Now he has right view also. Unlike the earlier two people, after death, reappears in a happy destination. Quite right, isn't that so? So we are quite happy that he was born in a good place. Anyway, so this here says, indeed, there are good actions and results of those actions. For I saw a person of good actions reborn in a happy destination. You see, I saw someone like that in a happy destination. He means this here insists only this is true. Now that is where he is wrong, right? When he says that what he sees is the only truth, that is not quite correct. Now let us see. Now, for that also I have another example. You know, you might have come across this before, but anyway, Maha, a young man with 32 companions, did a lot of social work. So remember, social work is also good. I know of a lady who was more than 90 years. She was, I think, close on, much more. I don't know the exact, now she's passed away. Till the last minute, I think she continued doing that hospital work. Of course, it was not, manual work as such, not physically, but, writing and doing things like that. What a happy person she was. I met her. There are people like that who, do social work, not for money. That lady, it was done like a donation, you see. So anyway, did a lot of social work, like building roads and bridges, pilgrims' rests, digging wells and ponds, looking after his parents, helping the needy, and keeping the precepts. Not only that, he was a very good meditator, metta meditator. He meditated on loving kindness, and he taught these 32 companions also metta meditation, so that they, even if people did something wrong to them, they didn't retaliate. So, because they were so good, because of his good deeds and right conduct, he became Sakka, the king of the Devas. Here, the kamma is good and the results are good. So, right? So, still he is there in the Deva world. So, another recluse. Now, this is the last one, the fourth one that the Buddha, told us. Another recluse sees a person who does good, but after death is reborn in an unhappy destination, even in hell. He insists, he means that seer insists what he understood is the only truth, right? That there is no good and bad action. Okay? So now, I like to give you an example of this too. During the time of Buddha Kassapa, Kassapa Buddha was the Buddha immediately before the Gautama Buddha. That is our present Buddha. Just before that was the Buddha Kassapa. Now, at that time, there was a virtuous and meditative monk, but he had not attained anything, not even Sotapanna, right? One day he fell off the boat while crossing a river. Something would happen and then he fell off. He tried to hold on to a branch that bent over the river, but it broke. The branch broke. Now, I must tell you because you won't understand otherwise. Now, we are not supposed to even break a branch, right? Monastics cannot do that. if we do it by some chance, we might, break a branch or cut a flower or something like that. If we do that, we have to do that confession. It's called apati desana, and with someone who is equally, equal in your lineage, right? We confess to each other and say, I have done this, so please, excuse me, or whatever, and then it is over. So now he worried so much. Now I'm going back to the example. This monk, he worried so much about this little offense. Now it is a little offense. Don't think it is a crime that will take us to hell. But the thing is, this monk worried so much about it that he could not, do this apati desana that I was talking about, right? Before he could do the act of confession, he died, right? Then, as a result of the deluded state of mind during the last moments of his, life here, what happened to him? He was reborn as a great naga, a serpent. So that means he went into the animal world. Now see, only that little bit, that it's not such a big thing, is it? But the thing is, it is our mind, you see? So that is why we have to purify the mind, that Buddha has said, sachitta pariyodapana. That means we have to purify the mind in order to make the mind better than what it is already. It may be a good mind, pure mind, but still, we can do more purify. So anyway, now you have heard about the four different people and how Buddha got these four people together. This is why the Buddha said, no matter how a person performs a deed, that one experiences the result as it should be experienced. Now can you see? No matter what the deed is, the deed may be a big one or a small one, but it so happens that there is a way that it should be experienced, and that is how it happens. Kamma is something that we cannot, talk like this and then, get into, get sort of, to finish it, the talk about kamma. In fact, now when we do kamma, all the kamma that we do, even little ones, they get together and they become a big one. But anyway, at the last minute when we are, about to leave this world, all our kamma try to, come forward to become the next rebirth winner, right? So, at last, what happens is the most strongest kamma out of all those come up, and it is according to that we get the rebirth. Okay, so now I am going to give you a little bit about another sutta that Buddha said. In the Lonapala Sutta, or the lump of salt, I might have mentioned this before too. The Buddha says someone does a trifling bad kamma, maybe stealing something, or using harsh words, or trifling one, and it leads him to hell, right? While another person who does the same kind of kamma experiences the result in that very life without any residue left to be taken to another life. Now see the difference. You see, difference between two people. One, both do the same kind of thing, not at the same time, One gets one result and the other one gets another result. Why? The former, the one who goes to hell, hell means not only, hell, but it could be the animal world, like that Naga, the monk who became a Naga, or it could be hell, or it could be the Petha world or Asura world. So, the former, that is the person who goes to a lower realm, is limited in virtue, mind, and wisdom. Can you see that? Considers the body as self. Does not practice the Dhamma and has a short lifespan. He dwells in suffering because of his small evil deed. Now, from the time that he does the evil deed, he starts suffering. So, he suffers here. Maybe he is taken into prison for what he did, Whereas the other is developed in virtue, mind and wisdom, is mentally unlimited and immeasurable. You can't measure his, goodness or whatever. And has a lofty character. That means he has a virtuous character. So the Buddha gave this simile to show, to sort of make this idea even better understood. Now, what is the simile? Now, Buddha says, suppose a lump of salt is put into a small bowl, small cup or bowl or whatever, containing water. That water would be very salty. You can't drink that water. But if the same amount of salt is put into a large river, it would not be felt at all. So that is the difference between the two people, right? The kamma that those two people have done. Not only that particular kamma, but the kamma in all, in their lifetime. So there are many ways of rebirth after one's life is over in this world. One could be influenced by an action done in a past life. Now, there are certain people who don't believe in a past life. But even then, our birth here is also due to whatever we have done in the past. And maybe there is some residue left which has not been, not been experienced. So therefore, and we don't have much kamma in this life to sort of go into a rebirth, or the kamma that had been there in the past is much more stronger than the ones that we have done here. So that one comes before the others, and that makes the next rebirth. Or one could be influenced by an action done earlier in the same lifetime, that is in the present lifetime. Or could be influenced by one's dying thought, right? Dying thought. A wrongdoer, that is a papakari in Pali, may get a heavenly rebirth due to, one, before his bad kamma was done, he had done good kamma. Before the bad kamma, he had done good kamma. So that good kamma is much better than the bad kamma. So he gets the result on that. Two, the good kamma could have been done after the bad kamma. That is, the bad kamma had been done earlier, but he does some good kamma after that. Then the third one is, he has right view at the time of death. Now that is the third one. Now what is right view? It is about the road to liberation from suffering, the noble eightfold path, and the power of cause and effect, right? Those are the ways in which we can, find liberation. So that is right view. One must see if a certain action or quality of mind will lead to the end of suffering. You know, what we think and what we do, will it end our suffering? Now, when I say this, don't think it is only of Nibbana that we are talking about. It can be in this world also, you know. Now, when we do something, if it is going to make us suffer for that in this world, why do it? You know, so being mindful, we can escape from that. Now, that is what it means here. So, this is, that is right view. Venerable Sariputta, now I have told you earlier about Venerable Sariputta, said that right view, right effort, and right mindfulness run and circle around each path factor. Now, you know the path factors, there are 8 path factors: right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Now, out of those, 3 are here. That is right view. Now, Venerable Sariputta is talking about 3 things: right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. They run and circle around the other path factors. You know, now if we are following the path, we must not go into other paths, you know. We must follow the correct path. Then, when we follow the path, we are following not only one of those factors, but all 8 come together. So, these 3 run around the others, you know. So, right view knows what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. What is harmful? What action that would bring to us? This is right understanding of kamma. If we understand what we are doing is kamma, we will not go wrong. The Buddha taught that the key to liberation is not the eradication of past kamma, but the elimination of the defilements. Now, I will explain that to you. That is, now if we are going to, now in the Jain tradition, that is what they say, that they have to finish all the bad kamma that they have done before. Buddha never says that. Buddha says, if we are going to finish off all our bad kamma, we will never be able to liberate ourselves, because we will be making more kamma now. So, what Buddha says is, it is not eliminating or eradicating all the bad kamma that we have done earlier, the past kamma, but the defilements that we have now. You know, the defilements come under 3 headings: lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, delusion. And under these 3, there are so many subdivisions. Now, for instance, if we take hatred, dislike, grudge, comparing, conceit, so many. You can think for yourself, what are the other subheadings of each one? So, because of those, we call them defilements. And what Buddha says is, we have to get rid of those defilements in order to stop suffering. So, kamma should be, now this is another thing that Buddha said, kamma should be understood. The result of kamma should be understood. The cessation of kamma should be understood. And the way leading to the cessation of kamma should be understood. What is the way leading to the cessation of kamma? The Noble Eightfold Path. This is the Buddha's advice. So, that is the end of the sutta. So, would you like to do a little bit of meditation? Or are you tired?
Yes. into meditation?
So doing a little bit of meditation?
Yes.
Okay. So then you know now how to sit down properly. Now I'm going to do the metta meditation today. Maybe a little differently. Let us do the metta or loving kindness meditation, right? But before we start, it's good to see if we have any anger or dislike or any quarrel or difference with anyone. Anybody, even your child, if you have any sort of difference or whatever. If that is so, let us first make peace with them and with ourselves. We are not going to go to them and ask for peace, you know. It's here now in the meditation that we do that. So, how do we do that? We could use words to form the thought. Now let us say, now you must think if there is anybody, right? This is how you say, I forgive. You put the name, you know, of the person or persons, and may that person or persons be at peace. Think like that. May that person forgive me too. Now that's very important. I forgive myself. Now I'll say that again. I forgive so and may so and so be at peace. May so and so forgive me too. I forgive myself. This meditation of metta opens our hearts to ourselves, to our loved ones, to this suffering world, and sends healing even to others far away. Take a few deep breaths. Breathe softly, gently in and out. Now think of what I am saying. May I be free from suffering. May I be healed. May no harm come to me. May I be at peace. May my body and mind be calm. May I be free from suffering. May I be healed. May no harm come to me. May I be at peace. May my body and mind be calm. Now think of someone or more than one you love with warmth and kindness. May you be free from suffering. You can be in singular or plural. May you be healed. May no harm come to you. May you be at peace. May your body and mind be calm. Now, let your loving kindness reach out to all beings on this earth. May all beings on this earth be free from suffering. May all beings on this earth be healed. May all beings on this earth be at peace. May no harm come to them. May their bodies and minds be calm. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Do you have any questions?
No. No.
Hello. Thank you, Aya, for talking to us today.
Next one will be in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Same here.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.